Will Godhra mar Modi's chances? Is Nitish guilty of political opportunism? Joining us on the centre stage face-off this evening, Manishankar Iyer representing the Congress party, Uday Singh, Member of Parliament of the BJP, KC Tyagi, General Secretary of the Janata Dal United, Shwapan Das Gupta, one of India's foremost political analysts. I want to go across first to KC Tyagi because the BJP is turning the heat on Nitish Kumar, saying he is guilty of opportunistic politics. Here is a Chief Minister of Bihar who was at that time Railway Minister. He was part of the NDA dispensation while Godhra took place. He even congratulated Modi for his victory in 2002 while the NDA was in power, never once flinched. And now the BJP accuses Nitish Kumar of engaging in purely opportunistic politics, which has nothing to do with secularism, nothing to do with ideology and principles. Mr. Tyagi.
देखिए, ये कहना एकदम गलत है कि ये किसी अपॉर्चुनिस्ट पॉलिटिक्स का अलायंस है। राजनीति में रोज रिश्ते नाते बदलते रहते हैं। जहां तक गोधरा का इंसिडेंट है उसको मैं दोबारा नहीं रिपीट करना चाहता। नीतीश कुमार जी ने और हमारी पार्टी ने कुछ भी नहीं कहा है। जो उस समय के देश के प्रधानमंत्री थे श्री अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी, उन्होंने जो कहा वो तो आशीर्वचन हो जाता है। उसी बात को जब हम कहते हैं तो वो उनके लिए बुरी बात हो जाती है। और अब ये कहना, उन पूरे सवालों को हम उठाना नहीं चाहते क्योंकि उस पर गर्त जम चुकी है। बाकी रेल मंत्री का काम जो है शहरों में फैले हुए दंगे दूर करना नहीं है। रेल मंत्री का काम रेल की सुरक्षा करना है। अब इस तरह के आरोप अगर कोई लगाता है, इस चीज को ज्यादा बढ़ाना चाहता है, कोई ऐसा आरोप भी नहीं लगा है, खाली सुझाव दिया है कि प्रधानमंत्री अगर ऐसा हो तो अच्छा हो। इस पर भी इतना नाराज होने की, इतना रिएक्ट करने की, 79 के स्पिरिट को नई तरीके से देने की, आज मैं कहीं ये भी पढ़ रहा था तो उसी पे बहस हो जाए। बीजेपी को अपना एंकर तय कर दे। व्हाट वाज द रीजन बिहाइंड द जनता पार्टी स्पिरिट, व्हाट वाज द रीजन बिहाइंड द जनता दल वीपी सिंह गवर्नमेंट फॉल। हम हर चीज के लिए तैयार, लेकिन जब हम इस चीज को खत्म कर रहे हैं, हम नहीं कह रहे, हमने खाली सुझाव दे दिए। हम कोई बीजेपी का पार्टी का अध्यक्ष बनेगा उसके लिए सुझाव कभी नहीं देंगे, लेकिन एनडीए का प्रधानमंत्री कौन बनेगा उसके लिए हम फ्रेंडली पार्टी होने के नाते सुझाव दे सकते हैं। अब उस पर कोई आग बबूला हो करके कि 20 साल पुरानी बात उठाए, 10 साल पुरानी बात उठाए, तो ये कोई पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम में इस तरह से फ्रेंडली पार्टीज के बीच में नहीं होता।
Mr. Uday Singh, each time the BJP and the JDU have had a tiff in the past, senior leaders have always stepped in and ensured that tempers calm down. This time, it's just going from bad to worse. It would seem the BJP-JDU relationship has reached a point of no return, that the divorce is now writ on the wall. It's only a question of when, not if.
Rahulji, I think the two of us are just giving Manishankarji a little respite before the 22nd of April when Parliament starts, so that they can have a little laugh, they can enjoy at our expense. But coming back to the question that you've asked, what Mr. Tyagi is now saying, I don't think I can take any objections to that. He is saying that they merely gave a suggestion as to what kind of a prime ministerial supposed candidate should be presented before the country by the NDA. I think they are perfectly within their right to suggest that.
So are you prepared to accept their suggestions, because they are clearly ruling out Narendra Modi from the list of your party's prime ministerial candidates? It's not as simple as you would like us to believe. They've made it very clear that Nitish Kumar will not stand or tolerate Modi as the NDA's prime ministerial candidate, sir.
Rahul, somebody giving a suggestion and the other person or party accepting it or not are two completely different matters. I was talking about the right to give a suggestion. Now, where is the objection? The objection comes in because of the insinuations cast on our Chief Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. That is something that we reject outright. And what Mr. Tyagi was just saying, that there is no need to go into the past of 10 years and 20 years. This is exactly what we were saying, and this is exactly what we've been telling the leader, Mr. Nitish Kumar, that having been a part of the NDA government at the time when the Sabarmati Express carnage took place, followed by those very unfortunate riots in Gujarat, he was a member of the cabinet here at the Union. It's not a question of whether it was a law and order problem or whether it was a problem related with railways. Our point is that if he thought that this was communal politics, he should have quit then. He did not. Now we do not want to go into the past, but this is what our request to him is, that he too must not go into the past of 2002, must not give an opportunity to others to derail.
Mr. K.C. Tyagi, why is Nitish Kumar then raising the ghosts of Godhra? Modi would like dearly to lay those ghosts to rest. Why is Nitish Kumar raking up these issues? The BJP has this question for you.
Nitish Kumar is not raising the question of communal right of Godhra. Nitish Kumar is not saying that he failed to fulfill his Rashtra Dharma. What he suggested, the Prime Minister candidate of the NDA must have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are not discussing the president of the BJP. बीजेपी किसको अपना अध्यक्ष बनाती है, किसको महामंत्री बनाती है, हमने कभी जिक्र नहीं किया। लेकिन जो इत्तेफाक से हमारा भी नेता होगा, वो कैसा होना चाहिए, ये सुझाव देने में कौन सी बुरी बात है भाई?
Mr. Manishankar Iyer, do you think the relationship is set for divorce? You've been smiling all the way, which is understandable from a Congress perspective. Do you think the BJP, JDU, the riot within will cause a divorce now in this relationship?
It was on a program on your channel immediately after Modi's victory had been declared that I said Modi's victory will divide the BJP and alienate the NDA. And what I see happening is exactly the fulfillment of my own prediction. This is an internal matter of the NDA, I buy that. I also think it was opportunistic of Nitish to have remained in the NDA after Godhra happened. And I think the stand he's taking now is a principled one. In other words, my view is the exact opposite of Uday's. I think he was being opportunistic then and is being principled now. And I welcome anybody who comes into principled politics, especially when it concerns our nationhood. Now, I don't know whether it was a slip of his tongue or whether it reflected something in his heart and mind. But when Uday describes Godhra as a carnage, and what happened after that as an unfortunate riot, it seems to me that words are now beginning to twist the facts. The fact of the matter is that even today, there is now a petition filed in the Supreme Court, which I think provides a lot of information that needed to have been taken into consideration by the SIT, but was largely not so taken into consideration simply because the Modi government hid it. I don't think we should be at any stage in history at a point where we say, oh, just forget what happened in 2002. I don't say forget what happened in 1984. I think we should remember it and we should take the appropriate steps in that regard. In the case of Mr. Modi, he has not given any explanation as to why he did not take appropriate steps in the days immediately following the terrible carnage that took place in different cities of Gujarat in order to control it. It is shocking that the information provided now in the petition of Mrs. Jaffrey indicates that the man was actually trying to neutralize the police and the administration so that his best friends, people like that Jayant Bhai Patel, could continue the kind of awful things they were doing. They were unable to find police protection for Naroda Patia or for Gulbarg Society, but they could find police protection for Acharya Giriraj Kishore to come and bhadkao matters even further. The fact is, I am not willing to forget 2002. I hope Nitish will not forget 2002, but I do recognize that when Nitish was the railway minister, we had in Mr. Vajpayee a man who, until he went to Goa subsequently, was informing Mr. Modi that everything you're doing is wrong and it is against the Raj Dharma. So I accept Nitish's point that when Vajpayee was there, we at least had a mukhota that was secular. Now the mukhota and the reality are both communal. It's a very, very dangerous situation, and I'm glad that Nitish is drawing attention to it. I have no idea whether he wishes to switch sides or not, but he's standing up for secularism. That is an important thing.
He's standing up for secularism today, but what about standing up for secularism in the immediate aftermath of what happened in Gujarat? Shwapan Das Gupta, surely something has to give. We can't have Nitish Kumar Today he named Modi, took a pot shot at him, said it's the chief minister who's responsible for law and order in the state. As railway minister, I can't be held responsible. JDU leaders attacking the BJP, BJP in its national press conference attacking the JDU. It seems there's a riot within the NDA itself. Something has to give. How long can this relationship last in this fashion? Swapan Dasgupta.
Before I answer that question, first let me compliment Mani Shankar. I'd only known him hitherto having earned recognition as a man of letters. Now I see that he's both an astrologer, a judge, jury, and the executioner. He's taken on all these roles. It's a great basket full of responsibility, and I'm glad he's trying to fulfill it. Now, if we were to go by what Mr. K.C. Tyagi said, and I think that was also the tone and tenor of the discussions which the JDU leaders had with the BJP leadership the day prior to Nitish Kumar making that speech. However, once that public speech was made on Sunday at the JDU National Council meeting, I think the things took a turn for the worse. And I am now tempted to the conclusion that Nitish Kumar had in any case decided that it was time to break ranks with the BJP. For whatever reasons, these were based on certain electoral calculations, these were based on certain other calculations, and maybe to give benefit of the doubt to Mani Shankar, it may have also meant that secularism, whereby proximity to the Congress is the defining characteristic, could have also been a factor. This is a matter of conjecture. But I think that decision of Nitish Kumar was almost predetermined, and it was also a last-minute attempt to make an intervention within the BJP. And there I would say that a certain section of the BJP may even have egged him on to make that intervention. The consequences of that, however, have been completely different. A, the BJP reacted sharp and fast. The reason for that was very, very clear. As far as the groundswell of the BJP is concerned, it is more or less unequivocally on the side of Narendra Modi. Therefore, even for a set of Delhi leaders to try and plot and scheme and to find other ways of how you machinate your way into sidelining him was unlikely to work because of the sheer pressure from below. And that pressure from below is also there in Bihar. I'm sure Uday would probably know about it, have direct experience of that. So I think we've reached a stage where I think it would be in the best interests of both of them to say, okay, we've now encountered a problem which stems from a very, very different perception of what you think we ought to do and what we are doing. And I think it would be in the best interest to depart from here, because I think what is happening is that a debate, a very robust debate on the future of India, on the economy of India, on the development of India is now in the process, is being threatened to be derailed somewhat by a needless preoccupation with history. That, I think, is
You're
really
calling
the
it a
reason why I
needless
think
preoccupation with history. Many people would have a different perspective on that. Uday Singh, given the irreconcilable differences, is it not high time that BJP pull out its ministers from the Nitish government? He's insulted your top man for Prime Minister, made it very clear he will not fall in line behind Narendra Modi's candidature. Why is the BJP not walking away? Why are you still trying to hold on to him by his coattails?
Rahul, that is a decision for our party leadership to take, but I can assure you that all of us have made our displeasure known, not only to the JDU, but to Mr. Nitish Kumar himself, that we have taken objections to the way he is described as Chief Minister. Coming back to what my respected Mani Shankar Iyer ji was saying, I mean, the Congress discovers all kinds of wrongs that Mr. Modi did during the 2002 riots, and I'll say what he said. That too was a carnage. Just as the Sabarmati Express was a carnage, so was the Godhra riots, they were a carnage too. But the Congress seems to be discovering all the wrongs that he did. It's surprising, however, that a Supreme Court monitored investigation, not one, but many of them, just don't find any evidence against Mr. Modi, because each time they give him a clean chit. It is said that it's Mr. Modi and his administration which hid away all evidence. I mean, what kind of SITs are then appointed who are toothless completely, powerless, who are unable to get to the evidence, and every time after detailed investigations when they say that Mr. Modi has had nothing to do with the continuing riots there, the Congress has to say the evidences were not placed before the SIT. I mean, I find this very surprising.
Swapan Das Gupta also says, Uday Singh, that Nitish could possibly be egged on by the Delhi leadership of the BJP because they want to scuttle Modi's chances and they realize that there's a groundswell around Modi. Therefore, there are people in the top leadership who want to scuttle Modi's chances.
I refute that completely. BJP is united, completely united, and it will stand by the leader who finally is declared by a parliamentary board to be the face.
But the reality, Uday Singh, is many Delhi leaders are uncomfortable with Modi's candidature. They believe that they would be sidelined and marginalized and therefore would like nothing better than for Modi to get knocked out of the race.
Rahul, that may be your information. It's certainly not my impression. And I do not think that BJP at all has this problem with any of our leaders. We are fortunate in being spoiled for choices. We have many leaders capable of leading us, and if it is Mr. Narendra Modi or somebody else, we'll be equally happy going into the elections.
Tyagi, is Nitish Kumar doing this at the behest of the BJP leadership? He's very close to a couple of individuals. Is he doing this so that he can mar Modi's chances and get a new working prime ministerial candidate with whom he'll have a better relationship? Tell us the truth, Mr. Tyagi.
राहुल, हमारा बीजेपी की इंटरनल फाइटिंग से कोई रिश्ता नहीं है. इफ देयर इज एनी इन फाइटिंग इन द पार्टी, एज मिस्टर माय फ्रेंड मिस्टर उदय इज क्लेमिंग दैट इट इज नॉट. हम लोग कांग्रेस पार्टी के मित्रों को बताना चाहते हैं कि गोधरा से ज्यादा किलिंग भागलपुर में हुई थी. गोधरा से ज्यादा किलिंग जो है 1984 के राइट्स में हुई थी. मणिशंकर जी को भी ये सर्टिफिकेट हमें नहीं देना चाहिए कि हम सेकुलर हैं, कम्युनल हैं.
No, but the Congress is asking a very relevant question, Mr. Tyagi. Why did Nitish Kumar not step down in the immediate aftermath of Godhra and the Gujarat riots? You enjoyed the spoils of power and now are suddenly getting moralistic about it 10 years down the line.
ऐसा है कि जॉर्ज फर्नांडिस साहब, नीतीश कुमार जी दोनों ने जो लंबे समय तक दंगा चला था उस पर अपना डिस्प्लेजर शो किया था.
Why did they not step down?
मणिशंकर,
why did they not step down? Why did they not resign at that time? Was that not opportunistic, Mr. Tyagi?
Why Rajiv Gandhi did not resign after the...
You're answering a question with a question. Why don't you answer it? Why don't you answer my question instead of posing another question?
ऐसा है, जो अलायंस पार्टनरशिप चलती है, जो सरकारें चलती हैं, उसमें एक मिनट में इस्तीफे नहीं होते हैं. हम लोगों ने जो
That's opportunism. Mr. Tyagi, that is exactly what opportunism is about. While he was sharing power with the NDA at the center, he saw no reason to step aside. Now, when you're outside of power, then you're suddenly wanting to wear this secular halo.
We are still in power.
In Bihar, but not in the center. You haven't answered my question adequately. Why did Nitish Kumar not step down as the railway minister immediately after Godhra and immediately after the Gujarat riots?
मैं आपको बता रहा हूं, हमने जुलूस निकाले हैं. राहुल जी, अहमदाबाद में जुलूस निकला है. सरकार में रहते हुए, पार्टनर का अलायंस रहते हुए हमने इसको अच्छा नहीं माना था. अटल जी ने सोम अच्छा नहीं माना था. और इससे ज्यादा आप क्या हमसे उम्मीद करते हो?
No, why did you not step aside?
हमें ना चले, फिर आप कहेंगे.
Does that raise question, Shwapan, over the credentials of Nitish Kumar's secularism, where he continued to be part of the NDA while it suited him and is now trying to impose terms and conditions? It raises very serious questions about his commitment to secularism.
And JDU and Nitish Kumar will continue be to the part of the NDA in future also.
Let Shwapan respond.
See, Rahul, this debate is not really about secularism per se or the principles of secularism involved. This debate is really about political positioning. Now, Nitish Kumar decided, and he made that assumption some time ago, that it looks that if Narendra Modi is going to get the upper hand as far as the BJP is concerned, and for various reasons, he decided that Narendra Modi did not suit his local interests. So a different form of positioning was necessary for him to offset a possible loss of votes which would result in Narendra Modi becoming that. So I think what he was trying to do, and I think this is really what I understand to be the nature of secular politics, as they call it, is that he believes that just as Lalu Prasad Yadav's arrest of L.K. Advani during the Rath Yatra in Samastipur in 1990 led to a big Muslim consolidation behind Lalu Yadav, Nitish walking out of the NDA on the question of Narendra Modi will see a similar transfer of votes and therefore in the process, marginalize Lalu Yadav, B, make it a contest between BJP and JDU, and in the process give the JDU upper hand. He is trying to do a Naveen Patnaik through a different route. In that context, secularism comes in as a very incidental ploy. And I think if you look at it in terms of what he's been saying about the backward status, etc., I will support any government which actually accommodates me, etc. You can look upon it in that sense. It is, secularism is not the real issue. It is a political positioning. The only danger of that political positioning is that it presumes that only one community votes. And there are no one else who votes.
And it also presumes that he will end up as BJD and Naveen Patnaik and not as JDS and Kumaraswamy and HD Devegowda. That's the other question. But I now want to come to the most important question.
Also there.
Yeah, the most important question from a national political perspective. Will Godhra mar the chances of Narendra Modi in his quest to move from Gandhinagar to New Delhi? I want to put that question first to Manishankar Iyer, because Modi has tried to build, as Swapan says, a model of development. He's tried to move the entire political narrative from communalism, from secularism to development. A lot of people are buying into it. A lot of people are, moving towards Modi mania, which is why there is as much of a swell around his name as there is. But the fact is, Godhra continues to haunt him. Do you think that because of Godhra's shadow, because of the ghosts of Godhra, he doesn't really have a real chance of going to become the BJP's prime ministerial candidate and ultimately become the country's prime minister? Mr. Iyer.
I object to the word Godhra. What happened was after Godhra. It was all over Gujarat. And it's not a ghost that is haunting him. It is the bloodstains of the past. No, I'm not. I'm saying that what we are talking about, as far as Godhra is concerned, those who perpetrated that deserve every punishment that the law provides. I'm talking about the chief minister, especially in the information provided in the petition that has just been filed, taking no positive steps to quell the riots and taking a number of steps which will only provoke it and send it up further. There is a complete irresponsibility that emerges from this information, and why the government of Gujarat suppressed that information from coming before the SIT is a really important question, because these documents have not come automatically. They have come as a result of Mrs. Jaffrey and her friends petitioning, looking through documents and discovering what has happened. It is the fact that this information was sought to be suppressed, the claims that were made that such information didn't exist, that causes a big doubt to be cast on the clearance that has been given by the SIT. But that apart, I am deeply convinced that a lot of BJP supporters, including Shopan Das Gupta, actually secretly exult in what happened in Gujarat in the year 2002. And it is they who are gaining an upper hand inside the BJP.
You've leveled a personal charge. Shwapan must respond.
It will split the BJP.
No, because the other fear...
No, may I just finish?
Yes.
You see, what can I say? If Manishankar Iyer decides that people exult over the death of people, I think it shows a very perverse mindset, which is really unbecoming of him. He is reduced, if I may use the words of Jawaharlal Nehru when he told, he has reduced the level of the debate to the level of the bazaar. And that's all I can say. And for a man who claims to have high pretensions otherwise, who's an educated man, who's a very convivial dinner companion, for him to do that, I think is a matter of low taste. It's not very aesthetic, Mani. And I think that's really what I can say.
But Shwapan, there's a real risk that the BJP runs.
I think Chopin is trying to avoid the point that I made. The fact.
You see, Mani, I am telling you that each time there is a court case, each time there is a court hearing, someone comes up with what they claim to be new discoveries. Christopher Columbus is born and reborn in India every time there is a court hearing on the question of some aspect of the Gujarat riots. Most of these have been
congratulations.
Congratulations
by the SIT, on sounding.
And therefore, I think let us look at it. Let the courts decide. Why are you prejudging the judiciary? Mani, you have not been made both the accuser, the judge, the jury, and the executioner. First you said you were an astrologer. Now you've assumed these roles upon yourself. Let us wait. I don't think everything that is given in a petition necessarily becomes part of the gospel.
Mr. Iyer,
there are people who have agendas.
No, sorry.
And let us look at those agendas.
Okay, have you had your say, Chopin?
Go on,
yes, Mani, please go ahead.
Let me have my say. What I want to stress is, I was being neither judge nor prosecutor. I was simply drawing attention to a fact that has been mentioned in the petition, that documents which were available to the government of Gujarat were not made available to the SIT. And the SIT itself did not search hard enough for these documents, because they accepted that whatever was told to them about these documents, which are all really wireless records, had been destroyed or were not available. They have now been found. And I was merely drawing attention to the fact that they are in that record of the petition that has been presented before the Supreme Court. Now, whether the Supreme Court thinks those facts are relevant or not is a matter for the Supreme Court to decide. It seems to me that all the evidence I have read in this matter holds Mr. Modi guilty constructively and perhaps even participatorily. And I do not regard him in that neutral light as just another man with some development model in his hand who can easily be the Prime Minister of India. Mr. Chopin Das Gupta,
because he doesn't have that surname. Because he doesn't have that surname. Because he was born from a humble background.
Can I not finish?
So you cannot ever reconcile. You can never reconcile the idea of an Indian who doesn't have a Gandhi surname, who doesn't have a privileged background, whose permanent address from age 0 has been somewhere in Lutyens, Delhi, ever making it to that. You know, it offends your basic sense of what constitutes right and wrong. And that, to my mind, is this privileged sense of entitlement, which I think is being challenged. And for that, people like you will do anything. People like you will do anything to bring that out. And that's why I'm saying, if there are new discoveries, let the Supreme Court or whichever court has been entrusted with this do it.
Mr. Iyer,
why are you prejudging it? You are not, and I repeat, a fit and competent person to assess clinical forensic evidence.
Sorry, can I just come in? It's not I who am on trial in this program, because I never presided over the murder, the assassination, the planned conspiracies.
But you are trying to be the judge.
More than
but you are trying to be the judge.
Oh, just a minute, yeah. I did not preside over any of this, whereas Mr. Modi was the Chief Minister of Gujarat, and he has Goebbels' like characters like Chopin Das Gupta who are trying to whitewash the blood of 2002. And he may think what he likes of me. I do regard Chopin as a completely inferior human being because he went to Oxford, whereas I went to Cambridge. But can we put all this to one side? We're not talking about Modi's origins. We're talking about what he did after he got to the top. And it is not my fault that I was born of my father. I was. Now, I don't know why we are being diverted from the issue. Mr. Nitish Kumar has said categorically that the nationhood of India depends upon the survival of secularism. And Mr. Modi's actions, his philosophy, his words do not indicate a secular person. Now, Shravan Dasgupta may not like the word secularism because it damns his position. But the fact of the matter is, the issue is secularism. And what divides the Congress party and all secular forces from the BJP and Hindutva and the Sangh Parivar is that they are on the side of Hindudom and we are on the side of a secular India. And that is a rift valley that can never be bridged. Chopin is welcome to sit with all these assassins. I prefer to sit with a noble Indian who wants a secular India, and we constitute such an overwhelming majority that if Modi is projected as the Prime Minister, he's going to be totally defeated.
You became the shadow. You became the shadow immediately after the 1984 riots of the man who justified it by saying when a great tree falls, the earth is bound to shake. And you talk about complicity of someone else as a commentator. Manishankar Iyer, your culpability is far deeper than you can ever imagine. That you have chosen to disregard it with a good use of the English language is not something which will be pardoned. I think for your sins, you will have someone else to answer to.
But Chopin, there's a big risk that the BJP runs in projecting Modi. There are new disclosures, there are call records, PCR records, State Intelligence Bureau reports that have been submitted before the Magistrates Court in Ahmedabad. In any of these cases, any adverse verdict, observation from any of the courts could trip over Narendra Modi and his prime ministerial ambitions. Do you not think that's a big risk as the BJP pushes behind Modi?
See, the point is nothing has been done so far. Nothing has happened so far. Modi is not even accused in a single case. If that happens, that point will be confronted. Why are you judging it in a hypothetical situation? Why are you assuming that there is a difference? Yes, there were riots that took place. There were horrible riots. Such riots should never happen again. And they have not happened for the past 11 years in Gujarat, which is far more than can be said about various other parts of India ruled by secular friends of Manishankar Iyer. But there is, what we are talking about is a political issue. Yes, of course, when you project any political person as candidate, there is a gamble. Yes. The ultimate question is he acceptable to the people of India or not?
Uday Singh, is that not a big risk? The BJP runs. The fact that there are so many cases going on against Modi, you never know when, in which court.
There are no cases going on against Modi. Modi is not an accused in a single case. Rahul, please get your facts. There are people who are attempting to implicate Modi as part of a larger conspiracy issue. That as of today, as of this minute, there is not a single case against Narendra Modi.
But there is a protest petition that's been filed in an Ahmedabad magistrate court. Yes, I'm asking the question. Sure, I'm asking the question that if in any of those accusations there is an adverse verdict, Uday Singh, will that mar Modi's chances then? Is that a big risk the BJP takes in that sense? Uday Singh.
There's a question to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this petition 999, which is now, I presume it must be the 999 petition that has been filed now in the Ahmedabad court. We cannot prejudge what's in that petition. That new evidence has been found. We've been hearing it for the last decade now, last 10 years now. Nobody has projected Mr. Modi as the NDA's face for the prime ministerial candidate yet. It is for the BJP's parliamentary board to come to that decision. But the earlier question first, whether there's a risk or not, I don't think there's a risk at all. Because let the people of this country decide whether what Mr. Manishankar Iyer is saying is more correct, or what the BJP would be saying at that point in time would be more correct. Let them take their pick. Let them decide who the Prime Minister of India should be in 2014.
Mr. Iyer, is that not a fair formulation? As Shwapan and Uday both say, do not prejudge what the courts might say. So far, there has been no adverse verdict against him. Let the people decide. You have a problem, you vote against Modi. People wish to vote for Modi, let them vote for Modi. Don't prejudge what might happen in the Ahmedabad court or the Supreme Court anywhere else. Mr. Iyer, concluding remarks, please.
I am not saying that the courts will come to a particular judgment. I am referring to evidence that has now been placed in the public domain. And as far as I am concerned, I am not a judge. I am a citizen of India and I have the right to a view of my own, whether this is eventually confirmed by the courts or not. And as for winning the elections, I have only one point to make. Mr. Modi is so associated with Hindutva, with the idea that this country belongs to a Hindudom, that if the BJP decides to project him as their prime ministerial candidate, I would welcome it. I would applaud it with both hands, because I'm deeply convinced that the vast majority of Indians will never ever vote for so divisive a personality, one whose dividing of this country is precisely on the communal divide. I think a person like Mr. Modi would be regarded by most Indians as an extremely dangerous option, and therefore his being nominated as the prime ministerial candidate from the BJP would only ensure and assure the victory of the secular force.
Mr. Tyagi, how long do you think the NDA will last?
You should be encouraging the BJP in going ahead with that.
He's saying he's encouraging the BJP.
The biggest votary.
Uday Singh, he's saying he's encouraging the BJP to go ahead and declare Modi.
Is he?
That's what he's saying. He says that the Muslims and the minorities will come and rally around the Congress.
I heard him say things about Mr. Modi, which seem to suggest
I
he doesn't want Mr. Modi to be the prime minister.
I am not encouraging the BJP to do anything, because I neither want to talk to the BJP nor do I expect the BJP to listen to me. I also, as a commentator, quite as distinguished as Shwapan Dasgupta, believe that if the BJP decides to project Modi, it is they who are going to suffer. And why should I interfere in whether they wish to commit political suicide or not? That is for them to decide. As a commentator, my view is that a BJP-led by Mr. Modi will not only divide the BJP, it will also alienate the NDA.
Mr. K.C. Tyagi, one final question.
Victory for the secular forces on its own and not as a result of the BJP's decision.
How long, Mr. Tyagi,
we've had enough of this secular communal nonsense for 65 years now. Money, come on. Let's get on with it. Every time there are Lok Sabha elections, you come up with this secular communal nonsense. Come on.
No, in between also I come up with it. In between also I come up with it. In between also I come up with
Money,
it.
come on. I mean,
Mr. Tyagi, okay, one final question, Mr. Tyagi. How long do you think, Mr. Tyagi, and Nitish will continue to remain with the BJP? Do you think a divorce is round the corner? There's a big BJP meeting on the 18th. We don't know what they will decide, but do you think the alliance will last till the end of the year, or do you think a divorce will happen much sooner, maybe in a matter of a few days, a few weeks?
Rahul, you are asking
Yes, Tyagi Sahab.
We are going to attend the meeting of NDA on 20th.
Okay.
And will continue to attend it. What we have suggested, we are not intervening in the personal politics of BJP. If the leadership issue of the NDA will come, we will continue to press what Nitish Kumar has said earlier.
But Shwapan, the fact is, the BJP has been insulted by its alliance partner, has been challenged, has been provoked, has been not allowed to do what the BJP rank and file would want the leadership to do. Do you think this alliance is going to last in its current form only for a few more days or weeks, will not last till the end of the year? Shwapan, quick final comments, please.
No, well, I somehow don't see this present arrangement lasting for too long. And I think part of the reason stems from the fact that when a person has enemies such as Manishankar Iyer, there's no dearth of friends to come to their rescue. And I think what we are seeing is that we are going to see a general election where one of the principal actors is going to be Narendra Modi. Who the other actor will be, we do not know as yet. But I'm interested that Manishankar Iyer does not any longer talk about a Congress victory or a UPA victory. He talks about the victory of the secular forces, a very convenient changing of the goalposts, an attempt to shift the agenda and take it away from the misdeeds of a government that has underperformed and squandered the India's potential for the past 10 years.
Shwapan, you're lighting a new fire. If I get money to respond, we'll be debating for the next 40 minutes. I leave that for another center stage face-off. Shwapan Dasgupta, KC Tyagi, Manishankar Iyer, and Uday Singh for joining us on the program tonight. Thank you very much. Very important debate in the context of whether Godhra will mar Modi and whether Nitish Kumar is guilty of political opportunism. Make no mistake, each man is in it for himself, and the fact remains Nitish Kumar has now pushed the BJP into a corner from where they have no option but to sever ties. There can be no two ways about it. A divorce is imminent. The only question is when, not if. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us on the program tonight.